Lore Together is proud to be part of the Boss Rush Games Network. Feel free to find out more at bossrushgames.com/network. Hi, I'm Safi.
And I'm Mystic.
And this is Lore Together. This is the podcast where a husband and wife team go over all the storytelling, world building, and characters of video games. Because it's what we like to do together. We lore together.
Yep, and this is episode 81.
Woohoo! Thanks for joining us for another awesome episode.
Yeah, thank you. But before we get into that, if you'd like to contact us, you can do that on Twitter, Instagram, Mastodon, or Reddit. All those are down in the description. Or through email at loretogether@gmail.com. And if you'd like to support the podcast, you can do that. One is giving us a 5-star rating wherever you can. That includes Spotify, iTunes, and other services. I can never remember all of them. I only use one, Spotify.
Feel free to email us if you did give us a rating on Apple and we haven't seen it yet, just because Apple's funky.
Well, Apple also has ratings for different countries, too.
Yeah, so like if you put your rating for Italy, we might not have seen it, or Zambia, or Spain, or who knows.
The other way you can support us, no matter where you are in the world, mostly, is by going to Patreon and giving us a per-episode pledge of $1, $2, or $3 to get early access to episodes as well as mini episodes. And you can do that over on patreon.com/loretogether. I totally changed up how I do this.
Well, change is okay, and every episode we change it up with one of us, usually you, Mystic, telling the other about some sort of storytelling in some sort of video game. So what are you laying it at me today?
We are going... So you are fully aware of this franchise to begin with.
Fantastic. The surprises will hopefully not be too grand.
I have played this on both PC and Switch.
Oh, I should know this. Fudge sickle.
And if that all... there's only so many genres that can do that.
I know. Well, now Call of Duty can do that
soon, but...
Yeah, I was surprised that Nintendo agreed to that. That's a... Look, Boss Rush Media will cover that in their other stuff.
Don't be surprised by that. Go on the Nintendo eStore. There's stuff on there that I would not have ever associated with Nintendo.
Nintendo standards, man. They've changed. Anyway...
This is a old point-and-click adventure franchise dating back decades. Do you know what it is yet?
Is it Sam & Max?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That is one of the things you like to play with little buddy when you're like, I need some adult humor, but also something that a toddler will laugh at.
Yeah. So, originally started as a couple of comic characters created by Dave Purcell when he was young in the 60s. He would leave little unfinished comics and stories around, and his older brother Steve would often finish them in weird parodies in a fit of sibling rivalry. He would deliberately make the characters mix up each other's names, over-explain things, shoot at each other, and mock the way in which they'd been drawn.
Oh, no.
Over time, this eventually morphed into Steve telling his own full stories with the characters, and eventually, Dave would sign over the rights to the characters to Steve, I think as a birthday gift.
Oh, that's kind of sweet, actually. I like that.
Yeah, apparently their sibling rivalry has been resolved, though I can't find anything really beyond that. It's not a game property first, as I mentioned, comic books, though for our audience, they are probably most well known as games.
I have to say, myself in particular, even before we met, I believe I was aware of the Sam & Max games in general.
Yeah.
Just because they are kind of akin to Monkey Island in the sense of,
yes,
if you're into it, you're into it, and also kind of Moon Logic-y, but I don't think their Moon Logic is as bad as Monkey Island, but...
I can't speak to that. I haven't played Monkey Island in a long time.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, somebody else clear it up to me.
But, so, there were comic series, as I said. There were a video game in the 90s, one video game in the 90s, as well as an animated series. Mm-hmm. There was a cartoon. I didn't even know about that.
Wait, what? There was a cartoon?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I like how I nodded to that. Like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And I was like, wait a second.
It was like one season. But
yeah, that's a hard sell.
Yeah. The stories are all kind of off-kilter crime procedurals.
Right. That's exactly the point.
So they generally start with Sam sometimes Max, but usually Sam getting the phone or getting the information from the police commissioner in some way. Sometimes they've had like bricks thrown at them with the information on it. It's weird.
Right.
Basically, the police commissioner needs their help on the case. For those who didn't know, because I didn't introduce it properly, these are Sam and Max freelance police, which is a very strange thing to talk about.
Freelance police. So does that make them private eyes?
More private eye / vigilantes.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
So let's discuss who Sam and Max are, because we haven't even touched on that yet.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
So Sam is a laid-back but enthusiastic brown anthropomorphic Irish wolfhound.
Yes.
He wears a blue or gray suit with a matching fedora, apparently to make people more cooperative when conversing with a 6-foot talking dog. He possesses... Yeah.
And also, I didn't realize he was Irish wolfhound because I just thought he was an anthropomorphic Labrador that was sized up.
So Steve Purcell had a blog at one point and literally had pictures of like an Irish wolfhound with like photoshopped stuff on him. It was like, no, it's an Irish wolfhound. So...
Oh, okay. So that's clarified. Okay.
He possesses near encyclopedic amounts of knowledge, particularly on obscure topics, and is prone to long-winded sentences filled with elaborate and sometimes purely superfluous terminology. Sam still retains various dog-like qualities. He is not above sticking his head out the car window and letting his tongue flap in the breeze. Like, he still is a dog. Like, he will comment on, you can walk up to a fire hydrant, and he'll be like, that brings me back to childhood. You know?
Oh, wow.
So,
I like that bringing back to childhood is fondly thinking of things you've peed on.
yeah.
And that must be a guy thing, because that's definitely not... That's if you have a certain set of parts, I could see that being part of your childhood. It was not part of my childhood.
Sam is usually armed with an oversized .44 revolver. Max is an anthropomorphic, hyperkinetic 3-foot rabbity thing.
Rabbity thing. So like the rabbids, bunny in shape, but not in true nature.
Right. White fur, but prefers being called a lagomorph.
A lagomorph.
So a lagomorph is literally a scientific classification. I forget if it's genus or species. It's a genus, I think, or class, but it's basically like rabbits and hares and other stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So he's
of that family, but he is not specifically a rabbit.
Yes.
Okay.
Max retains very few characteristics of other lagomorphs. His ears are permanently rigid and always set in an excited posture, and his mouth, which is full of sharp teeth, is normally stuck in a huge crazed grin. Described frequently as either unhinged, uninhibited, and near psychotic, Max enjoys violence and tends to prefer the aggressive way of solving problems, seeing the world as little more than a vessel for his, quote, pinball-like stream of consciousness.
Yeah, he's very much what we call an agent of chaos. Like, there's no getting around that.
Max is extremely possessive of Sam and their status as partners and best friends.
How does Sam feel about this?
Max is his little buddy.
Okay.
Which is weird given what we call little buddy, but whatever.
So, but it's more kind of like he has to look over this creature.
I think he likes him. Yeah.
I would think so if he kept him around this long.
Max traditionally carries a Luger pistol, but as he wears no clothes, other characters often make comments as to where Max keeps it on his person.
Behind the rigid ears. Just put tape behind one of the rigid ears. You might be able to hide
he usually
a
reaches
Luger.
behind his back, so we don't know.
Oh.
Nothing.
He shakes the ear, that's okay.
You're going to go with that, okay.
That's my head canon. He shakes the ear, it falls off, and then he pulls it out. So it looks like it's from his hip.
Nothing much came of the characters until the 1980s when Sam and Max appeared in comic form for the first time in the weekly newsletter for the California College of the Arts.
Aw.
Eventually, they would make their feature-length comic debut with the Sam and Max stories, Monkeys Violating the Heavenly Temple, a name Purcell found on a firework and thought it was appropriate.
Monkeys Violating the Heavenly Temple?
Yes. And Night of the Gilded Heron Shark.
Okay. The imagery that's being cast with these titles is astoundingly ridiculous.
Purcell, it should be noted, has worked on many video games, usually in the art department, some of which we'll cover in the future, like Loom and the aforementioned Monkey Island series.
Oh, okay, cool.
The humor in the games and comics is definitely a huge helping of absurdist scenarios and complete non sequiturs by Max. It's a hit or miss kind of thing. Either it works for you or it doesn't. We've mentioned this during weekly streams, actually, that it's a bit like the old 90s cartoon Ren and Stimpy.
Yes, yeah. Well, I would say it's kind of got some Ren and Stimpy aesthetic, but kind of the humor delivery is closer to, I would say, one of your favorite books, which is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
A little bit.
It feels like it's somebody doing Ren and Stimpy humor, but delivering it as if they were writing, like.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see
like,
that.
What was that? Terry Pratchett, who wrote it? No.
Douglas Adams.
Douglas Adams. Why did I say Terry Pratchett? Ignore.
I don't know.
Ignore me. Ignore me. I don't read either one of those authors. But yeah, like it's Douglas Adams doing Ren and Stimpy humor, essentially.
Now, weirdly, I'm not going to focus on the sole 90s game called Sam & Max Hit the Road. When Telltale started their games in 2007, everything since has been the same universe.
Yeah.
Like, there's been a continuity through all of those games.
Yeah.
Except for Sam & Max, this time it's virtual, which is, from what I've read, we don't have a VR system here for me to try it, basically not that great.
Oh, no.
One reviewer said it was just basically a thinly veiled minigame
Oh.
collection. Yeah, like it's not the same as the point-and-click games, which makes sense. It's virtual, so.
Yeah. That's too bad. That sounds like if you're going to do that right virtually, you would need one of those really crazy setups where you could walk in any direction without like that weird, basically souped up treadmill form.
Oh, the 360 treadmill thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I also don't like. I prefer.
When we do get a VR set up and I'm going to play Abduction on it, let's be honest.
That's fair.
And I'm going to play all the Cyan games I can through it. But I'm going to do that seated.
Yeah. No, I think with those, you either have to do it seated, so that way you still feel you've got that surround view.
Yeah.
Or I would think instead of a treadmill, you'd want to have like a room that has a couple of blocks so you could pretend to be something to sit, and then you would adapt it like a holodeck. That's kind of how I would feel, but that's just me.
The 90s game isn't bad. It is definitely dated. It's,
Fair.
Yeah. Everything from, the opening sequence is a little weird today, to the fact that you have to wait. Like, there's pauses for dialogue because the tech wasn't there yet. So the Telltale games are also benefiting from a lot of refinement in the genre and in technology.
Exactly.
So the 90s game and the VR game are kind of outliers. In this one, we're going to be focusing on the Telltale ones. And we're going to begin with Sam & Max Save the World, Episode 1, Culture Shock. And, it should be noted that this was 2007.
Yes.
It was a kind of a weird release to begin with. It originally released exclusively for GameTap.
For what?
So GameTap was a gaming subscription service. This is before, even OnLive, if you remember OnLive. This was subscribe and download games, and then it's like gaming library.
Okay, I kind of remember hearing about OnLive and then just not being able to take advantage of it or care about it.
OnLive was streaming, kind of like it was Stadia, but more ambitious.
Ooh,
well, here's why I say that. It was terrible, but it was much earlier, and they got almost the same results. Like, I remember playing a game on OnLive and it being buffering and stuff, but playable. And Stadia was Google now basically meeting that same metric of, it's buffering a bunch here and there, but it could be playable.
Well, first of all, I think Google needs to stop feeling like they need to put their hand in every pie. I also feel the same way about a lot of those corporations.
I'm not going to get into Google's corporate culture because...
And hence why Stadia didn't work. Two, if anybody's ever going to get in the video game business, give a care about video games.
Right.
Actually give a care, period.
Maybe don't dissolve all your first-party studios within the first year. Anyway, so GameTap was a gaming subscription service. You would pay whatever, and you'd be able to just download a bunch of games. From what I remember, I didn't quite dive too deep into GameTap, although it was interesting that this was one of their big exclusives.
Sam & Max.
And we are going to cover the other big original exclusive too, because that was Uru Ages Beyond Mist.
Oh, that's right. The one that you said's hard to play now, right?
Amazingly, for an MMO that came out back then,
yeah,
and didn't succeed, it is still online and still playable.
Wow.
because the fans are the ones supporting it now.
So it's a small
In
little
fact,
community of people who do
it's
that.
it's a small, very fervent community,
Yes.
and they've actually kept it updated. Like they still do patches every once in a while for this old game. So it was developed by Telltale, published by the Adventure Company, of which I had numerous games, and Joe Wood Productions. None of these companies exist anymore.
Oh, wow.
Telltale is long dead.
Well,
Adventure Company and Joe Wood Productions were eventually bought by a company that eventually got absorbed into THQ Nordic, which is now the Nordic Group or something. They still exist, but Adventure Company and Joe Wood are long gone.
right. They've whatever little remained had merged into.
Yeah. The current remastered versions of Sam & Max that are still being made, actually, there's one coming out this year,
Nice.
are all by Skunk Ape Games, which is a bunch of former Telltale devs, kind of started another company.
Telltale, once they realized that not everybody would remember what happened.
I personally have not delved into the differences between the original versions of the Telltale Sam Max games and the remastered ones, but the remasters are on more platforms. Like that's why we have it on the Switch.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's any differences beyond like maybe some graphical touches or just making it, widescreen. I don't know. I didn't delve into that.
Mm-hmm.
But almost immediately upon starting, we get introduced to new characters compared to the old game. Jimmy Two Teeth is a hoodlum rat who lives in Sam & Max's office.
Jimmy Two Teeth.
Yep.
Does he speak like a mobster?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I expected.
And most of these characters are in multiple episodes. When you get to season 2, they're a little bit more scattered because you have new characters coming in at times.
Yeah.
The street outside the office has also changed since Hit and Road and even the animated series with new stores and updated stores. For instance, there is an Esperanto bookstore that is frequently closed.
Frequently closed.
Yeah.
Is it by appointment only?
No. So it used to be an Esperanto bookstore. It is now shuttered and out of business, but occasionally somebody is using it for selling something or whatever.
Okay.
So, yeah, plot relevant or whatever.
Okay.
To the left side of the apartment building Sam & Max work out of.
So they work out of an apartment building.
Kind of. It's like a office building / apartment building. It's kind of weird.
Okay, it's a mixed-use building.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a new building labeled Sybil's, which is the office of a woman named Sybil Pandemic, who is a serial career jumper.
Sybil Pandemic?
Yes.
Yikes.
Within the games, and jumping the timeline a bit here, she's been a piercing artist, a tattoo artist, a psychotherapist, a tabloid publisher, professional trial witness, dating matchmaker, video game tester, brain surgeon, the list goes on.
I think I've seen... So I'll occasionally peek on you and Little Buddy playing this series, and I've definitely seen this woman behind her desk.
At the other end of the block, at the intersection of straight and narrow, literally, those are the streets...
Of course, those are the streets.
We have Bosco's Inconvenience, a store which appeared in Hit and Run, and when you would go in, you would interrupt a burglary, but you never got to go inside.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it was like your characters would walk in, that would be about it. You never saw inside. But now we do get to see inside and meet its owner, Roscoe Bosco.
And is this who I think of? Because I feel like for a while, Little Buddy liked going to the shop and asking questions.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He frequently has nothing in stock except for super ridiculously high-priced items. He is severely paranoid and conspiratorial. And, yeah, like I said, overcharges. Like, a truth serum would be like $100 million.
And doesn't he also have many different personalities he likes to use behind the counter?
He is not using them. He is in disguise because he is conspiratorial and paranoid. And
so the disguise is to throw people off. Okay.
Yeah. The one thing I did hear between the remake and the remaster and the original is they got a new voice actor.
Okay.
I don't know why. I didn't look into that, but yeah, they apparently recast Bosco. So, the game itself opens with Sam and Max, the freelance police, lounging in their office awaiting a new case after a long hiatus, and canonically they have just come back from the dead.
What?
So there's this like 5-page comic or something that
Yeah.
Telltale published that Purcell did. That's like them rising from the grave in England, and yeah,
What?
it's like a tie-in being like why they're back again.
That's so insane.
No, the insane part was that Sam has like earwigs living in his brain, and he has to like get them burned out of his skull. It's yeah.
Suddenly, I have a Wrath of Khan reference coming straight to mind.
The commissioner sends him out to investigate a group of former child stars, the Soda Poppers, who have been causing trouble in the neighborhood. These three 1970s, quote, celebrity icons are attempting to promote a self-help video called EYE-BO, EYE-BO, which, when watched, hypnotizes the viewer, and in this case, hypnotizes Sam.
Oh no.
Max is immune due to his unique mental state.
Yes. Yeah, when the wires aren't crossed correctly, you can't really short them out the typical fashion. That's fair.
Max seeks assistance from Sybil, currently a psychotherapist, to reverse the hypnotism and basically finds out just knock him on the head. Cartoony logic.
Little Bonnie Foo Foo hop through the forest.
And after Sam is better, they have to cure the Soda Poppers by knocking them unconscious, which is, we did this when we did the dig. We're not going to talk
All the strategy.
puzzle solutions or
Yeah.
anything here. So, also we have 5 episodes to get through.
Yes.
Sam and Max and the Soda Poppers eventually confront Brady Culture, who hypnotizes the Soda Poppers again.
Brady culture.
So Brady Culture is also a... Brady Culture is also a 70s star who was rising, and then the Soda Poppers came into, like, their star rose faster, so he was just forgotten about. He's
Oh, wow.
a 70s icon with a huge fro of hair.
Oh
like,
my gosh. But the idea is that it seems like a lot of these people, their last name is a word, like a definable word. Brady Culture, Sybil Pandemic. Like, it makes me think that there's supposed to be a bit of a pun, but I think
Possibly.
that's the joke, that there might not really be a pun.
Yeah. You basically have to pull some Looney Tunes logic to get the Soda Poppers to attack Culture. Basically, Sam has to pull some verbal shenanigans to get the Soda Poppers to attack Brady Culture.
Pop culture against pop culture crime?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
yeah,
what I call
I can't remember exactly what it is, but essentially,
bad true crime joke coming in. That's what I call a Brady violation.
oh jeez.
Yeah! Ba. They wouldn't do that joke on CSI Miami.
Oh god.
They would not do that one.
No. Okay.
They would not do that one on CSI Miami.
You should feel bad.
No, I don't. I don't. You lovely people are willing to listen to me make these bad jokes.
Well, okay, so Brady Culture is subdued by the Soda Poppers because Sam basically pulls
new sentence. What
pulls some verbal Kirk Fu on him, and
Kirk Fu.
So the idea of we're just going to jump all over pop culture. So the idea that Kirk can always just out-talk a computer to logic itself into self-destructing.
No, I don't think you understand. He can make out with it.
No, we're moving on. The next case, situation comedy. The freelance police get involved, liberating a studio audience held hostage for days by a deranged TV talk show host, Myra Stump, who is running a nonstop marathon.
Oh my gosh. Can I just say that also sounds like it smells real bad. That's where my brain went. I couldn't stop myself.
At the TV station, Sam and Max deduced that Myra has been hypnotized, and after using other shows in the studio to become celebrities, like literally, they star in a schlocky sitcom called Midtown Cowboys about cowboys who have to hide a cow from their landlord.
Midtown Cowboys. This is so bad. This is only a step away from when Tom Hanks was on TV pretending to be a woman to have an apartment in New York City.
Did I mention the landlord is a chicken?
What?
a chicken who acted in the Royal Shakespeare Theater.
I think I know why they did that, Mystic. I think I know why.
Really? Okay.
Because the face Mystic is making. He's like, I fell for that. It was right in front of my face, and I fell for it.
This is gonna be a bad episode.
So bad, but it's. I think it's in honor of Sam and Max. And they're horrible, because they have a lot of jokes that are this level of bad.
So they bake.
Mystic cannot go on.
Sam and Max end up breaking a game show. Kind of, they cheated a game show and an American Idol style show.
Oh wow.
They get involved in an alien love triangle scandal with a magician named Hugh Bliss. This is to cement their celebrity status. Like, you need a scandal.
Hugh Bliss, like hubris, almost. No,
possibly. That's one way of possibly looking at it. I should mention Hugh Bliss actually. He's the inventor and founder of Emetics, which is basically a self-help pseudoscience thing dealing with color. Hugh Bliss, like, but it's spelled Hugh, but I like hubris as well. It kind of works.
Ouch. Man, that was such a stretch. Oh, that was such a stretch. I feel like I could be a contortionist now.
He's a celebrity magician who can change his color. Like, he can change, like, to blue, to red, to green. And when he's green, that's... Okay, mild puzzle spoiler. When he's green, take a picture. He's an alien.
Okay, there.
And all his stuff is about rainbows. His books are about rainbows, including, like, emitting rainbows, like...
I feel like this is some weird woo stuff that probably exists out there right now in the world.
So rainbows and magic, it's his shtick. He's a recurring character.
Okay.
Anyway, through becoming stars, Sam and Max convince Myra to let them become guests on her show. Once on the show, Sam notes a strange toy bear on her desk, which is the source of the hypnotism. And basically using the studio sound system, Sam electrocutes both Myra and the bear. I think Myra's okay. I'm not 100% sure.
I hope she's okay. She's a poor victim in all this.
Allowing the audience to finally leave.
Oh my God. Those poor stinky audience members.
The next episode, The Mole, the Mob, and the Meatball.
The Mole, the Mob, and the Meatball.
The commissioner tasks Sam and Max with infiltrating the Toy Mafia, a criminal organization operating from a casino.
I think I remember
technically
visiting this.
Teddy Bear's mafia-free playland and casino.
Right. It was kind of like they did their version of Chuck E. Cheese with roulette.
There goes that note that I have later on.
Wait, what?
Basically is like they have a bunch of singing bear heads on the wall a la Chuck E. Cheese, and then it's like, is Chuck E. Cheese still a thing? And if not, kids, ask your parents what Chuck E. Cheese was. Like,
it still is a thing.
It is still a thing? I have no idea.
It is definitely still a thing. I definitely, when things started opening up, they definitely did a big campaign saying, kids, come back!
That ball pit was a germ pit before.
Yeah, but nobody was complaining about it until you could possibly kill grandma with those germs.
Yeah. The commissioner's mole in the organization has gone quiet, and he wants the freelance police to find out what happened to them. So quickly, Sam and Max discover that the Toy Mafia are responsible for the toy bear that hypnotized Myra. As we mentioned, there's animatronic singing bear heads on the wall, and all the employees of the Playland are wearing giant bear heads. So.
I mean, it's a great way to do plausible deniability if you get raided by the feds. And they're like, well, you were always the one in the blue suit. I'm not always the one in the blue suit. Like, that's actually kind of a smart idea, and if you're thinking about it cartoonishly.
The weird thing is it's Playland and Casino, and I'm trying to think of what's in there. There's a one-armed bandit, so a slot machine. There's a poker table, and there's a whack-the-mole game where you shoot singing rats.
You shoot them?
Bring your own gun, literally, on the sign. So of course Sam and Max can play this fine.
Oh gosh. That's like, as an American, that's still very disturbing to me.
So as they gain the Mafia's trust doing various tasks, leaning on Bosco, whacking Sybil.
What?
Yeah, like they have you put a hit out on Sybil, and you have to figure out
How to fake it?
Well, she won't fake it because she's an honest, professional trial witness now. So she's about the truth, and they're like, "But you're being a witness for a case you don't know about yet." And she's like, like.
I'll be honest when I get up there.
But like, she's the one. She knows people are coming to kill her, and she goes, "Oh, Sam and Max, you're the only ones I can trust." And they're like,
Oh, this is bad.
But yeah, figure out how to fake killing Sybil and recovering a stolen meatball sandwich. You know, typical mafia stuff.
Wow. The stereotypes are just bleeding all over the place. With teddy bear heads all over them.
Yes. By the way, the meatball sandwich has a... Can't even do this.
Oh, no.
So they sell meatball sandwiches through teddy bears, and they kind of pull a cooking joke where they're like, samples of the culture of the original meatball sandwich are still used in the sandwiches today. Like a sourdough culture
wow.
joke. Yeah. So anyway, so they get accepted into the mafia, and they figure out that the mole, who is a literal mole, by the way,
nice,
has switched sides and is now leading the outfit.
Okay.
So
that's some typical mole stuff right there.
Yep. They also discover this casino is a front for a factory producing the hypnotizing bears for mass distribution.
Oh, wow.
And they eventually sabotage the factory and destroy the whole operation.
Cool. Sounds good.
So, soon after, in the next episode, Abraham Lincoln Must Die.
What a compelling title.
It's kind of curious.
Yeah.
The current U.S. president, who we don't know a name for, starts bringing in bizarre policies. Max is particularly concerned about the introduction of massive gun restrictions because he is Max.
Next,
well,
yes.
Sam believes that the president has been hypnotized.
Yeah, that would make sense. I'm not going to argue against the massive gun restrictions. It also wouldn't work like that cleanly in America, but
no. At the White House, I love how they get a call from the commission to go investigate this.
Oh, really?
And then go investigate it, and it's
the
like
NRA is losing so much money. You got to stop this.
No. But it's weird that the commissioner calls them and then they go investigate the president. Like so Sam and Max are in New York, I think canonically. And so the police commissioner's a New York police commissioner, and it's like, go investigate the president. It's weird.
Cartoon logic all over again.
When they finally get the president alone in the Oval Office, which is actually more difficult than you would imagine, considering he has a Secret Service agent next to him.
Yes.
And trying to knock him to his senses, Max beheads the president with the blow, revealing him to be a mechanical puppet designed to hypnotize the nation through TV broadcasts.
Oh my gosh, this hypnotism, it's everywhere.
Oh, yes. Have you caught the theme yet?
Have I caught I don't know. Have I? I'm not sure. Also, isn't this the scene where there was a musical number with all the Secret Service?
No, that's later.
Okay.
The president's bodyguard, Secret Service agent Chuckles, who is none other than the now fallen toy mafia pit boss.
What a tangled web we're weaving in this absurd
Everything
story.
is related. Everything is related.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we'll get there. So, Chuckles activates a giant robot disguised as the statue at the Lincoln Memorial. Basically, the statue at the Lincoln Memorial stands up and walks.
Oh, my gosh.
There's an emergency election called, and the boys are forced to run against Lincoln.
Wow. So the statue Lincoln.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Max gets to run because Sam picked up a phone. Go with it. And literally talking during debates about his furry white iron fist.
This is... I have things I'm sure I want to say, but it would take me so long to figure out exactly how to say them.
Sam discredits Lincoln's campaign with a scandal involving Sybil.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was she, like, part of his campaign?
No.
Oh.
They play some shenanigans to make her think that... So at this point, she's running a dating service and also trying to find a mate for herself.
Okay.
And they basically pull some shenanigans to make her think Abe is calling her for a date.
Oh, interesting.
Which makes it so that Abe is not faithful to Mary Todd Lincoln after 150 years.
Oh, because when this game was made, that was expected of a president.
We're getting political on real political stuff now.
You're the one who brought the presidency into this, okay?
I didn't. This game did, and this game came out in 2007. So, basically, a bunch of Sybil and a bunch of rigged cue cards result in Max winning the presidential election against Lincoln and Ralph Nader. Kids, ask your parents.
Don't. That's such a sad story. Don't even.
In fact, Nader comes in second place to Max, beating out Lincoln, making it his best presidential run.
I mean, I'm glad it happened that way. We don't need Mecha Lincoln winning right now. So
it should be noted we never actually see the actual vote numbers. We just see the polling numbers. But we're working with what you have to work with. Lincoln basically flips his lid. Not literally, and begins a destructive rampage through Washington, D.C.
Flips other people's lids.
Yeah.
Okay.
But President Max now, and he is president through the rest of the season.
Oh my gosh, this is
and
insane.
Into the next season.
Wait, so then does he have like a secret serviceman around him all the time?
No.
Oh,
he is continually like embattled with like revolution and other things the whole time.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if parts of America would secede with like, we're gonna let this rabbit-looking crazy dude who looks like he'll chew my arm off at any second just run our country. I've got a problem with this.
Yeah. So President Max causes a war between the soda poppers because they're back. But now they're the governors of North, South, and West Dakota.
Excuse me. What?
Yeah, they added a new state. Literally, there's like a flag on top of the White House with just a little star stapled to it, like a 51st star for West Dakota.
Why? Why would you make a West Dakota? Oh, jeez.
But now that there is a war, he is able to get into the war room, which unlocks in amazing way with a song and dance number by the Secret Service agent Superball.
That, you did show that to me.
Yeah.
That was pretty spectacular.
Superball is the White House bouncer, hence Superball.
Oh, no. No. And you cringed at the chicken joke, and this is where... This is supposed to be something that entertains me. How could you?
I'm sure people listening are somewhat entertained.
If this is the first episode you've ever heard of ours, I want you to know that usually it's not this insane.
Usually it's a lot more depressing.
Yeah.
Usually
our humor is a lot more contained, but this is so bizarre.
I was looking through my Steam list earlier, and I was like, "This war of mine. What? Oh, that one. Oh. Or Papers, Please, like that."
Right. Gree, which we did recently.
Gree, yeah. Oh. Even Shenmue is like dark.
Shenmue is down. Shenmue starts with a murder. This
even the stupid episodes we did, like Just Cause, because Just Cause is campy and stupid,
but it's still about political overthrows of government. Whereas this is clearly just
completely tongue in cheek.
We're hypnotizing the nation and from small steps to big steps.
So anyway, President Max fires an ICBM at Lincoln and takes him out.
An ICB? What?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I can't. Okay, let's just move on. I don't know what I can say. I thought I had something to say there, and I just don't.
So the next case, we're only on episode 4 so far.
Of how many?
5.
Ah!
Episode 4. You're. This is so funny for me, and you seem like you're in pain, like you were during the Zork episode we did.
I am. That's, you know what? Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at right now. I don't know where my brain's going to go because I have no idea what you're going to throw at me, and I'm just not ready. I'm just not ready.
Episode 4, Reality 2.0. That's the title. It's kind of mundane, all things considered.
Wait. Are we going into a Saints Row game now?
Kind of.
No! Oh my gosh.
Involves Sam and President Max dealing with a computer crisis that is causing the world economy to collapse. They discover the problem is a virtual reality program. Sybil is a beta tester for the game The COPS, COPS, Computer Obsolescence Prevention Society, which is called Reality 2.0. The COPS are... I'm going to introduce them because they're minor players, but they're recurring characters. The COPS are Bob Bell, an automated phone like movie phone. Ask your parents.
Oh, welcome to Movie Phone. That's all you
pretty
need to
much.
know. That's all you need to know.
Bluster Blaster, an old, intense arcade machine. Think Sinistar, which is really old.
Oh, God, so old. What you say?
No, older. Sinistar. So it's.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It's even older than that.
Yeah, you're talking a Genesis game.
Yes, you're right. I am.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm totally mixing up my references.
Kurt 286, which looks like an old Osborne 1. So I actually had to look this up because I didn't know what an Osborne 1 was. But an Osborne 1 was the first commercially successful portable computer. And we're not talking like laptop portable. We're talking like this is a 20-pound plus suitcase that you can just carry with you.
Oh, so it's kind of like the idea of like the first portable phone was also just a suitcase you carried with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So this had like 2 floppy drives. Ask your parents. Built-in screen, keyboard, stuff like that.
Wow. Ask your parents. How many times are we telling people to ask their parents about technology in this episode?
So that's what I was thinking about. So I've also been playing this lately with little buddy, and I'm sitting there looking at, and like they answer a rotary dial phone, and I'm sitting there like, that's not even no one knows what a rotary dial is unless they grew up with one now.
Yeah.
Like
I was lucky. We inherited one that I liked, and I played with it. That's why I know what a rotary phone is. That's all. That's the only reason.
The reason
I
I'm
know.
saying ask your parents so much is because so much of Sam and Max is steeped in the 90s.
Yes.
That if you're born after the 90s, you may not have any idea what this is. Like you may again, is it a floppy disk or is it the little print icon? And of course,
you mean the save icon?
Save icon. Jeez. But even those weren't floppy disks. We just called them that because they were the smaller version of the actual floppy disk from the 70s and 80s.
Exactly. It's, oh, man. Oh, can you imagine, like, 50 years from now, that's still the save icon? We have to explain to people, well, actually, it wasn't even really a floppy disk. It was copying.
Literally, I read somebody on Twitter or Reddit saying that their kid was saying, why? They told their kid to hang up their phone, and the kid's like, what? Because you just end call.
You don't hang it on anything anymore.
Right. Yeah. So there's so many little things that we're going to have to explain.
I hadn't even thought of that, but you're absolutely right.
The last one of the COPS is Chippy. Probably the simplest of all of them, a home Pong console.
A home what?
Pong console.
Pong. Oh, wait, but you have to explain that a Pong console back in the day, so one of the first video game consoles that you could take home was Pong.
But not the first.
One of the first.
One of the big, probably the most successful first ones, I'd say.
Yes. And you have to understand, like, the controllers were definitely not sophisticated. It was literally just...
Actually, they were fairly sophisticated.
Well, they weren't dual joystick sophisticated.
No, but having a resistive dial is actually something that is...
Okay.
Yeah.
Technologically savvy, yes, but I mean by the capabilities that you could do with said
that's true
controller was not as sophisticated as it is today. And it was wired. It was always wired.
Yeah.
So you had to plug it into the console.
And it just made beeps.
And it made beeps. It was with a coil cord, so that way you could stretch farther.
Seth is going to explain Pong to people.
It's just everything is that you're mentioning. The thing that's the most current of these machines you've mentioned was movie phone.
This is the Computer Obsolescence Prevention Society. So these aren't all major players, like I said, but they are recurring characters in following episodes and seasons.
But
they are important in this one. So eventually, Sam and Max get into the program and discover that it is powered by the internet, which has gained sentience. Which, okay, fair.
Okay. I feel really bad for the internet. That is. Does it still want to live? Is it feeling okay?
Well, it's hypnotizing people, so they never want to leave the game world.
Oh,
Like,
it was lonely. It just needed friends. Okay.
it's funny because you can go into Bosco's in the real world and he's wearing goggles, but if you go into Bosco's in the virtual world, he is an elf. He has an avatar and such. But it's basically a Mormorpurger.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Sam and Max have to travel the information superhighway quite literally in their car. But it's funny, like they have to change the color of the car to get past certain firewalls. Yeah.
Aww.
And the person who gives you the color to change your car in the virtual world looks like Hugh Bliss.
Oh my gosh. So many references.
It's actually kind of a little bit like let's not get into Star Trek. So basically they travel the information superhighway, get a bunch of puzzles out of the way, obviously, and introduce a computer virus that crashes Reality 2.0 and deletes the digital embodiment of the internet.
Oh, wow.
So prior to her expiring, the internet reveals that it was following the plans of one Roy G. Biv.
Roy G. Biv.
Now, if you remember your, fourth grade colors, you'll probably be right there with Sam when he eventually deduces in the next episode, Bright Side of the Moon, that Roy G. Biv is actually Hugh Bliss.
Oh, Roy G. Biv. Wait. Hugh Bliss?
So Bliss was all about rainbows and everything, and Roy G. Biv is the color order on a rainbow.
Right.
Red,
You're
orange,
right.
yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So the two of them travel to Bliss's prismatology retreat on the moon.
On the moon?
On the moon.
Wait.
They drive up there, literally.
They drive to the moon? Okay. I was feeling like maybe this time people are going to think Safi's a little too cheeky. She's a little too out there. No, I don't feel bad anymore. You all get to hear the crazy side of whatever I'm rambling coming out of my mouth today because I just can't.
Where, when they get there, they are stopped by Agent Superball, who is no longer part of the Secret Service, but he is a prismatology devotee, and he is the bouncer for the compound.
Of course, he's the bouncer.
The mole is there. Brady Culture is there. Basically, Hugh is behind all of the stuff we've dealt with so far.
Yes.
Anyway, the boys eventually discover Bliss is preparing a device to hypnotize the entire planet. So, seeing Max, specifically, as a threat to his operation...
Wait, he's literally going to hack the planet?
We'll get there.
That's just immediately what came to mind.
Seeing Max as a threat to his operations, Hugh splits Max up into incarnates representing his gluttonous, slothful, and wrathful selves.
Oh, I think I remember seeing this.
Sam is forced to defeat the various incarnations in order to restore Max fully.
Okay.
And unfortunately, during all that time, Bliss succeeds in hypnotizing everybody on Earth.
But half of them are asleep. And
doesn't matter.
Half of them are. What about?
Don't bring logic to this.
Oh, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop right there. There's just so many reasons why this wouldn't work, but okay.
Confronting Bliss again, Max is entrapped in a massive crystal Bliss uses for his mind control / hypnosis device. Sam shoots Bliss, only to find that the villain is not even human.
Oh, an alien?
But is actually a colony of alien bacteria.
Oh, gross! Oh my gosh.
These particular bacteria feed on the endorphins produced as a human experiences true bliss. As it turns out, Bliss's real scheme isn't world domination, but to force Earth's population into a state of total bliss so that he can continuously feed without being interrupted.
Wow.
Hence, he started prismatology as a way to initiate his master plan and soothe his hunger. Bliss conjures a series of death traps with the intention of tormenting Max by making him watch Sam die, revealing himself to be actually quite sadistic.
And I did not realize that this enemy was going to have so much in common with Sauron from Primal Rage. But here we are.
Go check that episode out. We cover the game that never got released.
Yes. Oh, no, Sauron's in the one that didn't get released.
But we covered the game that never got released.
We covered the one that didn't get released, too. That's true.
Among those death traps includes a repurposed lunar lander and a tank of water Bliss calls the cleansing bath of annihilation, which sounds like something from D&D.
I want to have a goth spa that has the cleansing bath of annihilation. And it's a charcoal soak. The cleansing bath of annihilation, yeah. Now I suddenly have a business idea, Mystic. Let's win the lottery and do it.
So the colony known as Hublis is defeated when Sam tricks him into that tank of water and basically boils it using the rocket engine.
Oh, wow.
And then Max drinks the water.
Oh! That's like the physical embodiment of like... So, if you're ever in nerd con circuits, there's this you refer to things. It used to be more of a thing because it used to be the idea that in nerd cons there's a certain population that doesn't wash, but they would still go use the pool and the hot tub. And the hot tub in particular was called con soup because people would be like, I went in the hot tub, I don't need to take a bath. Which P.S. is not how hot tubs work, guys. You actually are supposed to wash before you go in a hot tub. So, in spite of this, when you mentioned bacteria that likes to feed off of bliss, boiled up, and then I just have this image of him taking a hot tub from a convention I went to like 10, 15 years ago and just like guzzling it down. And it's just... I feel
Max also eats anything. At one point,
I feel so ill right now. I feel so ill.
Yeah, Max eats anything. At one point earlier on in this story, the mob is watching you whack Sybil.
Oh, okay.
And then, like, they're watching on a webcam that they've hidden, and then Max eats the webcam, and it's like, tastes like chicken. Like,
the webcam bothers me a lot less.
I know. But he eats anything.
Oh, I'm going to puke after this, guys.
Returning to Earth, President Max takes great pleasure in reversing the hypnosis by personally knocking everyone on the planet unconscious. The end of the season.
Personally knocking everybody unconscious? Like, he went and... Wait, hasn't there 8 billion people? How? I just... Look, I understand.
Safi looks to be in despair.
It's cartoon logic, but it just goes too far, okay? It just goes too far.
We never see it. We just hear them talk about it.
Okay.
Like, oh, I'm gonna have fun with this, and cut to credits, you know.
Right.
So, but yeah, so that's season 1. There is a season 2 and kind of a season 3. Eventually, we'll get to.
Okay.
We'll do those when we need kind of...
We got to space these out a bit, okay?
Next time. We'll do them next time.
No. Let's space these out a little bit.
Okay, so Safi wants depressing next time. Got it.
No, I didn't say that either. Just cause was ridiculous, but I could deal with it, and we were making jokes about margaritas on the boat and everything. This is just like, I'm offended by how ridiculous this is. I can't deal. I just can't deal.
And now you have to play it.
Flames outside of my face. So angry.
It's not that bad.
I don't think it'll be that bad. I'm still happy to play it. It's just, this is the kind of humor that you embrace, and again, it's how it's presented. Because you're right, it is kind of Ren and Stimpy humor, but it's presented in a certain way, in a language and wit that it's not that I don't appreciate it. It just doesn't make me laugh as much as it makes you laugh. It's just not my
Unfortunately, it doesn't
thing.
quite work. I mean, I kind of kept it lighter this episode to kind of get it punchier.
Yeah.
If we drag it out and describe every single thing, there'd be a lot more references, but it would be a lot slower too. So
yeah, no, I know.
I intentionally skipped over a lot of stuff just to kind of keep the hits coming.
And also, nobody has fun explaining the joke. That's just too much. But I
kind of had fun explaining the Super Bowl joke.
Like from the quarter machines that I used to collect when I was a kid. Yep, that one. I guess I'll be playing this then the Thursday after this releases to the public.
And every other week we are still doing Skies of Arcadia.
Yes. We promise we make less political references there.
Well, there was a whole episode about an election in here, so...
Yes, there was. There honestly was. Yeah, and don't forget, we slowly put out our Let's Plays as we...
have time to do them.
As we have time to do them on our YouTube. So if you're not a patron, which you should be because you get to watch them sooner and faster for sure, we are slowly putting them out on our YouTube.
Yep, I'm going to be getting back to Lorik soon and our Unreal audiobook read. and you'll be doing more Laura Idukin. So.
Laura Dukin on the series I call All Roads Lead to Dad.
Anyway, we will catch you guys next time. Thanks for listening.
Thanks so much for listening. Bye.
Bye.